I'm now officially 2 years on HRT, and it's truly been a life-changing, life-saving time for me, and truly the best 2 years of my entire life. I gave a full breakdown of exactly how HRT affected me, the doses I had, and everything that I could whenever I hit the 1.5 year mark 6 months ago. So in this video, I'm going to summarize those changes in a little less detail. But if you want the full breakdown for that period, you can head over there. Short preface before I get started. My community and I talk all the time about how I seemingly took super estrogen. My changes were a lot. Don't go in with the expectation that everything that happened to me will happen in the exact same way to you, especially in this short amount of time. But that's not to say that it won't, it just usually doesn't. Okay, quick recap. I'm gonna break down my changes into 3-month blocks because that's how my brain remembers it the best, and how I can be so sneaky and evil and mean and steal it from my last video just to kind of make sure I don't get anything wrong. For the first 3 months, I started on 2 milligrams of estradiol for the first month, and then after this, I upped to 4 milligrams daily. This is where I first noticed some initial breast growth, nothing major, but I could tell that they were starting to form and they were preparing for growth in the upcoming months. I also noticed that I had a decreased overall body odor compared to before HRT, which was a much less talked about change and not one I was really expecting. And lastly, I realized that my world had a lot more vision and color to it all now. Not that I physically saw more colors than I did before, or my vision was physically different. But to steal from myself again, it was as if my world pre-HRT had a lens over it that caused me to interpret everything in what I can only describe as feeling like a 10% saturation filter combined with a TV static filter, without me really being able to recognize that either of them were there. Once I started HRT, everything made more sense. The world was more joyful, the world was more colorful, everything was right. And while I could tell I had a lot more progress to go at the time, it was positively overwhelming to get to experience a brighter vision in general. For months 3 through 6, I continued on 4 milligrams of estradiol the entire time, and found that I had no need to take an anti-androgen, a T-blocker, because estradiol was enough to suppress my testosterone on its own. This is where I had my first burst of breast growth, where I was now sitting at a comfortable B cup, and it became slowly harder and harder and harder to hide. And my world continued to grow even more vibrant. For 6 to 9 months, I upped my dosage to 6 milligrams daily, and I started 100 milligrams of progesterone. I noticed that my skin had become noticeably softer, like a lot softer than before, and without even properly acknowledging before, it was the first time in my life that my skin finally matched me. Another change that I never heard anyone talk about literally ever, and I'm not going to go into too much detail here, was that my alcohol tolerance drastically decreased. Other than this, I had even more breast growth where I was now a C cup, and I had even more continuation of mental clarity, where I thought I had finally achieved a, quote, full mental clarity for the longest time, thinking that since this was the happiest I'd been in my entire life and my perception remained relatively consistent for the next year or so after this, that it couldn't possibly get better from here. Wrong, loser, wrong. Things will get better. They always do. Why did I think that it would stop just because it felt like 100% by... For 9 to 12 months, I continued the same dosage as before, until the 11th month mark, where I upped to 200 milligrams of progesterone. I saw my very first notable decrease in height here, where I shrunk around 5 centimeters and went from about 191 centimeters to 186 centimeters, or about 6'3 to 6'1. Which is usually the absolute max for most people, but let's just say this recap isn't finished for a reason. In combo with the decrease in height, I also noticed wider hips from my bones doing the tilt thing. On top of this, I noticed I had also shrunk about 3 US shoe sizes, which again, don't expect that to happen. I took Mega HRT, Double Dash HRT, Madeline Celeste Mountain #1 world record speedrun HRT. Okay, sorry. For months 12 through 15, I continued on the same dose until about the 14.5-month mark, where I upped to 8 milligrams daily of estradiol, where I was now on the same doses that I'm on today. The only new major change I noticed here was a softer face, both skin-wise and face shape-wise, and I was absolutely elated. And to finish this quick recap, for months 15 through 18, where my last video left off, somehow again I noticed even more breast growth and even more height shrinking. Don't ask me how I did this. I would share my secrets if I knew. HRT is amazing. I was now sitting at around a D cup and shrunk from the aforementioned 186 centimeters, about 6'1", to now around 180 centimeters, about 5'11". Please do not go in with the expectation of shrinking that much. This most likely will not happen to you. I would honestly lean more that this is a measuring mistake somewhere on my part, if not for the fact that my height is something that I've constantly measured throughout my entire life, because I have the numbers neurodivergence. So I'm fairly certain these numbers are actually accurate. I am so beyond lucky that I wanted this change and that I got it. And honestly, between you and me, I'd lose even more height if I could, but I'm by no means complaining. We take those. Number one estrogen taker, yippee! Okay, recap finished. Maybe not as short as I really wanted it to be, but I feel it's important for me to give full context when I'm talking about this, because it really does mean a lot to me. What's happened since that last video, though? It's been another 6 months. Heck, that video was 25% of my entire time on HRT ago. Where am I at now? Most huge changes, as you've already heard, happened in the first year and a half, but a lot more has still happened since. It'd be a pretty boring video if I had nothing new to offer. Continuing on breast growth, I now sit comfortably at a double D, which is also absolutely wild. How many times can I say, do not expect this? I know what I took, and I don't know how it did this to me, but I'm never complaining. For other changes though, this is the first time in my life that I genuinely, truly feel like I can look into a mirror and be happy with myself. Sure, while along the way of HRT, this happened occasionally, but this is becoming more and more and more and more consistent as the days go on. I'd argue that at least 75% of days I can look into the mirror and see me. See who I truly am, not who I was forced to pretend to be for the first 20.5 years of my life. And I'm so happy. While I definitely have more progress to make on that front, I have outfits I want to try more, makeup styles I'm excited to explore, and HRT still isn't done and has more changes that'll make me even happier. I'm for the first time ever happy with my body and myself. The amount of confidence that HRT has given me, and in general, giving me the ability to put myself out there more, to get even more confidence, is entirely unrivaled. I used to be really shy, very closed off, very close to myself, and while there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, it wasn't me. I always felt a pain of not being able to truly express myself, but now I can, especially in the last month or so. If you don't know, earlier this month I celebrated my birthday and my 2-year celebration of HRT, and it was genuinely the best celebrations I've had in my entire life. Never in my life have I cried from happiness more than I did during my birthday. And I wouldn't be so full of life to celebrate that if it weren't for HRT. I wouldn't have got to truly experience and feel all of the words that all of my friends gave me that healed me in a way that I never thought that I would get. And for that, I am genuinely, truly, and deeply thankful. Not just for HRT giving me the ability to feel these emotions in ways I never have before, but also for letting me have the experiences that I do, letting me find my way through life, and letting me meet so many amazing people. I am the happiest that I have ever been. I catch myself daydreaming about the future constantly, which is something I never used to do. I used to dread the next day coming by, and I don't anymore. I have happiness. I have fulfillment. I have joy. It isn't a stretch in the slightest and almost feels like an understatement to say that HRT saved my life. It saved me. I wouldn't be the creator that I am today or the person I am today if it weren't for HRT. I would be so much more miserable than I could ever imagine, and I don't have to imagine it. I never have to imagine it. I have access to the resources that I need to truly be me and truly be happy. And everyone else should have access to it too. Everyone who wants this should have access to it. HRT is a life-saving medication in more ways than one. The fact that legislation and media pushes so hard against this causes harm, and has caused and will continue to cause death. This is something we all need to fight to be able to make as accessible as possible, as easy as possible to obtain. There shouldn't be barriers behind getting a gender-affirming care. The only thing that should be able to stop us is us not wanting it. Gender-affirming care is healthcare. It's a human right, no matter your age. I've said it many times before, and I'll continue saying it. Kids deserve access to gender-affirming care as well. I want gender-affirming care to be as easy as possible for everyone to be able to access, not just those that some people arbitrarily decide are more quote-unquote deserving. Everyone who wants HRT, puberty blockers, binders, or other gender-affirming care should have access to it. HRT has drastically improved my self-image in ways that I never previously thought possible. I see myself as a completely new, whole person because of it, and I want others to be able to experience this happiness as well. These have easily been the best 2 years of my life, the most positive 2 years of my life, and I'm forever thankful that HRT could give this to me. Thank you for watching, everyone. As you can tell, this video meant a lot to me, and I hope that it meant a lot to you as well. HRT is such an important resource that I see attacked so often, and it destroys me inside knowing some people might not be able to experience the happiness that they otherwise could from it. It's done so much for me, and I'm going to be as loud as possible about it forever. Anyways, if you want to have more conversations like this with me directly, head over to my Twitch. I'm currently partner pushing and appreciate absolutely all of the help in the world. I'm live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday at 5 p.m. EDT, so if you want to come say hi, that's when to do it. Thank you for making it this far. I genuinely love and appreciate you all for everything that you've done for me as of late. And if you haven't heard it yet today, I'm proud of you.